Good evening and welcome to the 867th meeting of the City of Laurel Historic District Commission. The qualifications of the members of the commission, the staff to the commission, and any consultants used are on file with the city and are hereby made a part of each and every application heard today. The guidelines and procedures adopted by the Commission are also made a part of each and every application. Each application heard today is considered on its own merits and is not to be considered as establishing a precedent for any other application. Brooke, would you call the roll, please?
Council President Cole.
Here.
Ms. Snyder. Ms. Snyder? I think you're muted.
Here.
Thank you. Ms. Frazier?
Here.
Mr. Schweitzer? Mrs. Les?
Here.
Chairwoman McSaney?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. When you speak, please introduce yourself for the record. Item 2, approval of the minutes for the regular HDC meeting held on December 19th, 2023. Is there any discussion or corrections?
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Frazier. Was that Ms. Frazier? Who seconded?
I did. Mary Eileen.
Thank you. Brooke, we have a motion to approve and a second. Would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Ms. Les?
Yes.
Ms. Frazier?
Yes.
Council President Cole?
Yes.
Chairwoman McSaney?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 3, HDC 2024-0064 for 508 Prince George Street, submitted by Wendy King. The applicant would like to install a fence. Would staff like to present their report, please?
Good evening, Madam Chair and Commission members. This is Emily Klein-Gibson with ECD presenting the staff report. The applicant is seeking Historic District Commission approval to install 15 feet of fencing with one gate along the back side of the backyard. Fence posts have already been installed. The proposed fence will be a 5 feet tall Wyngate style fence with a 1 foot tall diamond shaped topper for a total height of 6 feet. The proposed fence will be made of pressure treated wood and will not be painted, which will match existing fencing on the property. Staff recommends that HDC approve certificate number 2024-0064 with the following conditions. 1, the applicant shall obtain a City of Laurel fence permit. This concludes the reading of the report. I don't believe the applicant is online, but I'm here for any questions. Thank you.
Any questions or comments?
Madam Chairwoman, I move that we approve HDC application 2024-0064 for the fence.
Thank you. Is there a second?
This is Mary Eileen. I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion to approve and a second. Would you call the roll, please, Brooke?
Council President Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Les?
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder?
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier?
Yes.
Chairwoman McSaney?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 4, HDC 2024-0066 for 349 Main Street. The applicant is seeking to install a sign. Would staff like to present their report, please?
Good evening, Madam Chair and board members. This is Taylor Harvey with ECD presenting the staff report. The applicant is seeking HDC approval to install a sign on the storefront. The applicant is proposing to install a 24-inch by 78-inch or 13 square foot wall sign. The sign is comprised of aluminum material, background in black color. The sign text will state Miss Lounge in white lettering. The entrance door sign will be 14.5 by 19 inches or 2 square feet, comprised of Miss Lounge and the business days and hours with white lettering. Staff recommends HDC approval certificate number HDC 2024-0066 to include the following condition. The applicant shall obtain a City of Laurel permit sign permit. Thank you, Madam Chair, and the applicant is online for any questions.
Great, thank you. Can you tell us about your business?
Good evening, Madam Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So my name is Tim Papula. My partner is online as well. His name is Dina Luma. Miss Lounge is a smoking lounge. We recently received a zoning permit to be zoned as a smoking lounge. We plan to sell hookah, cigars. Potentially, we're not going to have any food because we can't have food in a smoking establishment. But generally, it's just a nice environment where people can come and relax after a long day of work. We fully expect this to be a way to breathe life into the Laurel community and add value to the city of Laurel as a whole. So we look forward to being part of the community and serving you all.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're happy to have you. Are there any questions? Any discussion?
This is Ms. Frazier. I move that we approve HDC 2024-0067. I'm sorry, HDC 2024-0066 for 349 Main Street.
This is Council President Cole. I will second that.
Thank you. Brooke, we have a motion to approve and a second. Would you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Frazier,
Yes.
Council President Cole,
Yes.
Mrs. Les,
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder,
Yes.
Chairwoman McSteeny,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you very
And
much.
thank you for coming to the meeting. We really appreciate that.
Pleasure. Thanks so much.
Item number 5, HDC 2024-0067 for 600 Montgomery Street. Submitted by Lam Vu. Applicant is seeking approval to build a fence. Would staff like to present their report?
Good evening, Madam Chair and Commission members. This is Emily Klein Gibson with ECD presenting the staff report. The applicant is seeking Historic District Commission approval to install a fence along the front yard of the property. The proposed picket fence will be made of wood material, painted white, and will be 3.5 feet tall at its tallest. The proposed fence will stay within property lines and will not block the sidewalk. The applicant proposes 4 gates with the fence, each 3.5 feet tall. One gate will be located at the front of the property and will be attached to a 7-foot tall wooden arbor painted white. One gate will be placed on both sides of the yard, and the final gate will be a 10-foot long rolling gate located in the left front corner of the property. This proposed gate will have no power and will be manually operated to access the parking pad. Staff recommends HDC approve certificate number 2024-0067 with the following conditions. 1, the applicant shall obtain a City of Laurel fence permit. This concludes the reading of the report. I don't believe the applicant is online, but I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Madam Chairwoman, this is President Cole. I have a question on this.
Go right ahead.
Is this going to be wood or vinyl? The pictures appear to be vinyl.
This is Emily Klein Gibson. It will be made of wood material.
Okay, let me make sure.
Madam Chairman, this is Gail Snyder. Did I understand you to say that this arbor is going to be in the front? The front of the property?
I think that is a question for Emily.
Yes, this is Emily Klein Gibson. Thank you for the question. Yes, this will be located at the front yard, the front property line facing Montgomery Street.
So this is Ms. McSeany. So at the end of their walkway?
This is Emily Klein Gibson. Yes, it would be centered pretty much exactly
I
where
guess
that
it wouldn't be at the end of their walkway. It would be in the middle of the parking area, near the side, by the sidewalk.
That's correct, yes.
I'm assuming, this is Gail Snyder. I'm assuming it's going to be where the sidewalk is leading to the house?
This is Councilman Cole. There is a page on the packet that has a really good diagram of where it's going to be. If we could pull that page up. That one right there. A little bit farther up shows number 1 is the gate.
So it's in this is Ms. McSeany, in the center of the lot at the sidewalk,
Correct.
not at the end of their walkway.
This is Ms. Frazier. Are they enclosing the concrete parking?
Yes.
This is Gail Snyder. So the concrete parking is part of their front yard?
Yes.
This is Gail Snyder again. I know everybody has different taste. I understand that, but I mean, I just don't see that arbor right there on that front sidewalk. I mean, if I can see it like over on the side with the gate. But anyway, that's just my opinion.
Will cars be able to get onto the parking?
This is Ms. McSeany. The 10-foot gate is on the corner of Montgomery and 5th, where the
6.
the 6, sorry, where the driveway area, you know, the curtain, what's it called?
Pad?
Apron.
Oh, you know, where you go from the driveway to the street, where it's angled. So that's how you access that area, is from the corner. And they will have their 10-foot wide gate there.
So then the arbor would be on the corner?
No, the arbor is on Montgomery Street, smack in the center of their lot. There is a 10-foot gate on the corner. Do you see where there's a little number 2? And there's a little angled line across the corner there? That's the 10-foot gate. I'm kind of wondering why they want to have to open and close the gate every time they park in their parking area.
So
This is Marlene Frazier. I'm sort of wondering why they need 2 gates within, I don't know what, 10 feet of each other? The arbor gate and the corner gate.
I'm guessing the arbor gate is more, I mean, the parking gate is more difficult to move. I don't know.
Maybe the corner gate is for that little entrance on the side, on the 6th Street side. I don't
Well,
know if that's
the
Yeah.
corner gate is big enough for cars to go through.
The area that is black, what is that? Is that just lawn?
That's the house.
Oh, so it doesn't go all the way to the next street. Gotcha.
this is Gail Snyder. I'd rather see the fence where the lawn starts.
Emily, was there any discussion with the applicant about the placement of the fence?
Thank you for the question. This is Emily Klein Gibson. I did discuss with the applicant. They would like to pretty much gate off their parking area. And I believe the front fence, the smaller one in the middle of the property, would be used for more pedestrian purposes, whereas the longer fence on the corner would be solely just to open and close for car access.
Do they have an issue with people parking there who shouldn't be?
This is Emily Klein Gibson. From what I know, they recently purchased the property within the past month or so. So it's a recent purchase.
I am not hearing any motions to approve. Are there any suggestions? The one suggestion.
My suggestion was that the fence start where the yard is.
So perhaps staff could go back to the applicant and ask if that would be a possibility. Is that what other people think, or open to suggestions?
I would like to know what their reasoning is for putting it where it is.
Mhm. Yeah,
So perhaps we need a motion to table this until next month, or when the applicant might be able to be at the meeting.
I
Madam Chair,
move, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to move that we table until the next meeting of the HDC with more clear perimeters of where the fence would go on the front sidewalk.
Well, this is Ms. McSaney. I had already asked that question, and it goes to the end of their property, which is right at the, there's parking pad and then there's sidewalk, and the fence goes,
Yep.
on their side of the sidewalk.
So I'll still motion that we table it until next meeting.
I second.
Thank you. Brooke, we have a motion to table this item and a second. Would you call the roll, please?
Council President Cole,
Yes.
Ms. Frazier,
Yes,
Ms. Les,
Yes.
Ms. Snyder,
Yes,
Chairwoman McSeany.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 6, HDC 2024-0081 for 708 Montgomery Street, submitted by Theodore, and I'm probably going to mispronounce this, Guerrant. The application.
Guerrant.
Guerrant. Thank you. I'm so sorry. You are seeking to install a fence. It's a night for fences. Would staff like to present their report?
Good evening, Madam Chair and Commission members. This is Emily Klein-Gibson with ECD presenting the staff report. The applicant is seeking Historic District Commission approval to install a fence in the backyard of the property. The proposed picket fence will be made of wood material, will be 6 feet tall and painted seacoast gray color. The proposed fence will connect to the house, run up the left side of the backyard, where there will be 7 feet of space between the proposed fence and an existing neighbor's fence, and will run along the back property line. The applicant proposes sharing an existing neighbor's fence on the right side of the backyard, but not on the left side due to property line concerns. The applicant also proposes having 3 gates. 2 will be located on both sides of the house, and 1 will be located along the back. Staff recommends HDC approve certificate number 2024-0081 with the following conditions. 1, the applicant shall obtain a City of Laurel fence permit. This concludes the reading of the report. The applicant is online and I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Comments? Is there anything you would like to tell us, Mr. Guerrant, that wasn't covered by the staff report?
I think everything is in the report. The issue on the left side of the property is that Sam Manu, who owns the house on the other side and is now renting it, built his fence 4 feet inside his property. I would have used that as the other side because it would have made sense and frankly would have been cheaper for me to do that. And honestly, I think it would have been a nice way to do it. But the problem is that I can't do it without technically trespassing on what is technically his property. And I asked Judge Nichols about it, who is my neighbor on the other side, and what he thought. And he thought I should not build things on someone else's property. He said even if he gave permission right now, he said that might be fine. But he says if the house is sold, then that could be an issue with the next person who would own the house, and they may not even want that fence. So then I would be in violation of building something on someone else's property. So that's the real problem. And the problem behind that is that there are actually 2 big trees there. There's an American elm tree and a large cherry tree. Both are old trees, and they sort of straddle the property lines, but they don't quite. And so I understand why Sam did what he did, because he was trying to avoid going into those trees. So basically his fence is 4 feet inside his property. And what I would do is put mine about 2 feet inside mine so that there would be at least 6 feet between the 2 fences. And there's some nice azaleas and things in there. So I think at least it would look nice. And as I say, I would prefer to use his fence, but it's just too far away for me to access it. So, but Judge Nichols' fence is exactly on the property line because we did a survey, and his fence is well maintained and it looks nice, and it'll be high enough to keep the shelter dog hopefully inside the backyard. So that's the idea, is to try to adopt a shelter, rescue a dog at some point, not right away, but probably a year or two in the future. But I thought I would get everything ready now so that when the time comes and the right dog comes along, hopefully I can adopt it and give it a nice home. I learned that there's 70 million homeless animals in this country alone. It's a shocking number, and 6 million homeless people are in this country. So all of it, if we just adopt one or two little animals from the shelters, they're completely overwhelmed with the number of animals, and that's one thing we can all do to maybe help a little bit. So that was my reasoning behind it.
Okay, that is lovely. I have 2 rescued cats myself.
I hope to get a cat too. I want a dog and a cat.
I have one question. This is Marlene Frazier. Maintenance of the 7 feet between the 2 fences. Will you be able to do that? I mean, can you just mow your 2 feet and not
Yes.
his 4?
I've been doing that already, so I would just keep
okay.
doing it because someone has to. And but mostly there's not much grass there. It's little small azaleas and shrubs and boxwoods and things. So it sort of maintains itself really. But
good.
I do go out there and pick it up. I don't want it to look like Tobacco Road or something out there. So.
Okay.
Anything else?
I would like to make a motion that HDC number 2024-0081 for 708 Montgomery Street be approved.
This is Council President Cole. I will second that motion.
Thank you. Brooke, we have a motion to approve and a second. Would you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Frazier,
Yes.
Council President Cole,
Yes.
Mrs. Les,
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder,
Yes.
Chairwoman McSeany,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much for coming to the meeting. Nice meeting you.
Thank you for listening.
Item number 7. It is time to nominate a chairperson.
Madam President, I nominate Miss Margie McSeany as the chairperson.
I second that nomination. This is Miss Frazier.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Okay, Brooke, we have a nomination for chair and a second. Would you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Snyder,
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier,
Yes.
Mrs. Les,
Yes.
Council President Cole,
Yes.
Chairwoman McSeany, do you accept?
I will accept.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we need a vice chair.
I would like to nominate Gail Snyder as co-chair.
Ms. Snyder, are you willing?
Yes.
Because we could always nominate Greg because he's not here.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Brooke, we have a motion and a second nominating Gail Snyder as vice chair. Would you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Les,
Yes.
Council President Cole,
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier,
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder,
Yes.
Congratulations. Chairwoman McSeany.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Gail. Oh, and I only printed the first page of the agenda. There was one staff approval for PNC Bank. And I'm guessing they are working on that because they've had a portion of the sidewalk out front blocked off for a couple weeks.
Mhm.
And let's see. Oh, and then we had a tax credit approval for Amy Dunham.
Yeah.
Any questions, discussion? Motions to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. See you in March.
Mhm.
Have a good night.
you.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
everybody.
Good
Good night.
night.
Night.